Hey, welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for AJ. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box. I'll get to it as soon as I can. For those who sent them, thank you. I really do appreciate it. And it could be any topic, tier list like this, reaction, review, re-review, thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthroughs, whatever the case. Again, PayPal or Cash App are the best ways to do it. Links are down below, and I will get to them as soon as I possibly can. Now, actually, I had to redo a bit of this because I screwed up with the recording that I'm using to record the stream because I tried a different format. And by 15 minutes, it stopped because I ran out of space because 15 minutes became 100 gigabytes. So I had to scratch it, redo a bit of it, so here we go. Take 2. But I love Dolph Lundgren. He wanted me to do a Dolph Lundgren tier list. He did send me the tier list, which is the best way for me to do this. It's for someone to send something like this, and just makes it a lot easier. Now, I did add these. It was kind of like A, B, C, but I'm like, okay, haven't seen such as, that type of thing. So I figure, first off, I don't think I've seen every one of these, or I've seen them and I remember absolutely nothing about them, so it might as well be. And some of these movies I might have reviewed and I don't remember. I literally don't remember anything about it. So I don't feel comfortable putting it somewhere, so I'm going to move these up. Female Fight Squad, Ambush, which again, I may have reviewed that, but I don't remember a thing about it. Blood for Redemption, and there might be another, but I'm just going to put these here. Because again, I might have seen this, but I don't remember a damn thing about them. Now, let's go with Awesome first. I think that would be the easiest one to do. I Come in Peace, my favorite Dolph film of all time. Love the concept, love the gimmick, love the idea of an alien drug dealer from outer space that will overload you with heroin so that you staying still. And then he takes a claw out of his gauntlet, puts it into your head, sets the endorphins out of your brains, because that's his drug of choice. And then there's these guns that you power up and blow up entire cars in one blast, and it's explosive, it's fun. You got some buddy cop fun dynamics between Dolph and Brian Benben. I love the score. Same guy who did the score did Miami Vice music. Lots of action. Same director of Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth and Action Jackson with Carl Weathers. He did this one. Craig R. Baxley knows how to do an action film on a low budget. This cost, what, $3 million or so? $3 to $5 million. And he got a lot of action, a lot of excitement. There's car chases, there's fisticuffs, there's explosions, there's one-on-one standoffs, there's gun battles. And I think Dolph does a wonderful job, and nice blend of sci-fi action, even a teeny bit of horror. Love I Come in Peace. Matthias Hughes is the villain. Imposing figure. Love I Come in Peace. My absolute favorite Dolph film. Also in the awesome category, of course, I put Rocky IV, my favorite Rocky film. Yes, it's one long music video, but I love it for that. It's my favorite soundtrack of all time. Hearts on Fire, maybe my favorite song of all time. I love Sweet as Victory. I love Burning Heart. I love the score by Vince DiCola. I think the boxing scenes are very entertaining. I love the sound design of the hits, the punches. Dolph is such a wonderful, intimidating figure as Ivan Drago. And I like the theatrical cut more where he has less dialogue because it makes him more mysterious and dangerous. Less humanizing, so he seems just much more of a threat for Rocky Balboa. Yeah, there's not as much emotional depth for Adrian compared to other films, but you still get some nice emotional scenes with the death of Apollo Creed and all that stuff. And the train montage is maybe some of the best train montages put to film. At least stuff that really gets your blood pumping. And the comparison between Back to Nature, Down and Dirty, Rocky Balboa, and then the steroid injecting, machinery, soulless aspect and environment of Ivan Drago. At least the way he's doing it. So, love Rocky 4. Also, I'm not sure what order, but Universal Soldier gotta be in there. It's Van Damme versus Dolph. This was, when I was a kid, the Battle of the Titans. Because I had seen The Punisher and I Come in Peace and other films by this point. I also have seen, because I didn't see this right when it came out, I saw this later on video. And by the time I saw this on video when I was old enough, Hard Target was on video by then, and Bloodsport. So I had seen those films, and then I see Universal Soldier. I'm like, yeah, these two going head to head, and it was so satisfying. Roland Emmerich, who would later do Independence Day, did it. It's my favorite Roland Emmerich film. I love the concept. I love the action set pieces. I love the mano a mano fight. I love Dolph's insane character. He's wearing a fucking necklace of ears. And just the way he acts. You're dead, soldier. I'm alive. And the whole Dolph was just having fun. Are we having fun yet? Or just bashing Van Damme. Why can't you get through your fucking head, soldier? He's having a ball and a half in that movie. I would say one of my favorite performances from Dolph is as Sergeant Andrew Scott. But yeah, just Dolph, it just felt like a great battle between those two. And again, I like the story. I like the little emotional aspects of the story of a guy finding out how much time has been lost, getting together with his family again, becoming a bit more of a human being again, after being this kind of slave drone for a while. Really liked it. I think it's a classic. The Punisher I would put in awesome category. Yes, I know there's no skull. Would it have been cool to see that? Sure, but I'm not going to hate the film just because of that. If that's the case, then you better hate X-Men films, because Wolverine didn't have his costume until Deadpool and Wolverine. But lots of action. Punisher doing what he does best. He kills a hell of a lot of people in that movie. And they're fun. With what low budget they had, Mark Goldblatt knew how to stage the action scenes. Shoot this harpoon that hits guy, and then Dolph slides down and shoot the bad guys. Someone has them, so he gets a shotgun and shoots someone in the face. Throwing grenades, throwing knives. Him and this guy go into this dojo where there's all these guys with swords. What the fuck do you call 135 murders in 5 years? Work in progress. Louis Gossett Jr. is a great asset as the former friend of Frank Castle. Very well-paced movie. I liked the villains. That was the Yakuza. I liked they went in that direction. I think for its lower budget, they had bang for its buck. I really do. So, because that's a film that's supposed to go into theaters, but the company went bankrupt, which was Corman's Productions New World Pictures. And then I guess they had to shop it around, and I guess eventually, I think Terrico got it, because I remember it was on VHS. I think it was Terrico, because I remember they advertised Jacob's Ladder on the VHS tape. It also advertised the Nintendo game, which I love the Nintendo game. But The Punisher, I think, is great. Men of War, I don't want to put in that list because I think it's a very underrated film. It might be Dolph's most underrated. Very well put together. It's a good looking movie. It's supposed to go theatrical, but the companies felt that Dolph, his films would not be successful in theaters, so it just went straight to video. Might have gone in theaters overseas, but not in the US. John Sayles had a hand in the screenplay. Now, maybe it was rewritten, but at one point John Sayles was involved in writing at least one draft of the screenplay. Good cast. You got Tiny Lister Jr. You got, I think his name is Trevor Goddard. The guy was Kano in the 1995 Mortal Kombat film. Yeah, BD1, Charlotte Lewis. Yeah, it's about this team of mercenaries hired to get these people off the land and on this island. But then some are kind of realizing this is wrong and they defend it while the others want to get them out because they don't want to finish their job. It becomes a battle between the two groups. One protecting the people on the island, the other wanting to drive them off. And you got Dolph with a badass rocket launcher blowing up huts, killing bad guys. There's one guy who tries to sneak up behind him, but he shoots, and the blast behind fries the guy. And he's like, don't sneak up on people. Look at the charred remains of this guy, don't sneak up on people. I love the fight he has in the taverns, the caves with Trevor Goddard. Welcome to hell. One of my favorite moments, he gets a bone, and he thinks he's going to, it's like an axe. It's like an axe, and he's going to hit the guy, but it breaks apart because it's so brittle, and then Dolph's reaction, fuck. There's little moments that really, I remember. In a way, like the idea, not the gimmick of having all the action stars, but some of the basis kind of reminds me of what you will later see in the Expendables later on. And ironically enough, in both films, he plays the character called Gunner. Now, it's not supposed to be the same character, but I just think it's ironic that the plots have a similarity to them, and both of them have a character named Gunner that Dolph plays. Again, I don't even know if Dolph knows that or realizes that. But in Men of War, very underrated film. Just got the Blu-ray from MVD. So, love that movie. Showdown Low Tokyo, gotta put that in the awesome category because it's an awesome movie. They took, I forget how much footage out. Because I know Mark L. Lester was mad because the studio kind of took control of it and just edited the shit out of it. Now, granted, it's a film that has no fat in it. It's like an hour and 17 minutes? Like, it's very short. It's one of the most fast-paced action films I've ever seen. It just goes pa 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 pa, which is fun to see, but at the same time, I'm curious to what the stuff would have been. But then the studio just threw it out in theaters, in like a handful of theaters, and it had no way to succeed, which is a shame. And it got a Blu-ray but from Warner Archive, so there's no features on it. And to me, if Double Dragon was a movie, it would be Showdown in Little Tokyo. Dolph and Brandon Lee worked so well together that they have great chemistry. Brandon Lee showed he could be a great lead. I mean, Dolph's the lead, but Brandon, he's got the charm, he had the charisma, he had the wise-ass, wisecracks, one-liners, he could move well physically, great martial artist, like his dad Bruce was. Terihayuki Tagawa from Mortal Kombat as Shane Sun, he's the villain in this. So, I mean, this was before Mortal Kombat, the movie. And, see, Terry Tagawa, I mean, you would get to see Tia Carrera and titties. Such a fun, action-packed movie. From the guy who directed Commando. So, the action is satisfying. And a lot of times I've said that my favorite Brandon Lee film is Rapid Fire. Because I do like that film. But if I'm thinking about it more, it might be Showdown in Little Tokyo. Because I think Rapid Fire, because he stars in the film. But really, this is a film that of all of them, I would rewatch this more. And it's, I would say, my favorite character Brendan has played because I love his wit. Like when we'll get these guys, and then we'll go over there and eat fish off those naked chicks. Just earlier he was shown sushi bars where women will lie down and people will eat sushi off naked chicks. When he's fighting Tatsu from the first two Ninja Turtle live-action films, he's fighting Tatsu. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to be dead. Like, some really memorable lines, and I love Rapid Fire, but this, it probably would be my favorite Brendan Lee film the more I thought about, so had to put it in there. And then so maybe more will be in the awesome list, but as of right now, I'm at least going to put this one on there, Red Scorpion. It's Dolph's version of Rambo in a way, Rambo 2. Only they haven't played a Russian because he was a Russian in Rocky 4. Only here, he becomes more of a good guy. He's hired to assassinate this guy. He's Spetsnaz. It doesn't. Things don't work out. He goes to the desert. He meets an older man, learns a bit about himself, a little bit of harmony with himself, which side he should be fighting on, joins the right side, and those guys were wrong to throw Dolph away because he comes back with a vengeance. And that Rambo 2, Rambo 3, where he's got the guns blowing, he gets this big fucking gun that blows a guy's arm off, and there's a helicopter. He blows pieces of the helicopter up, which is pretty awesome. He gets this big cannon and fires and blows up a tower. Like, some really cool action beats in there, and I like the story. I like the supporting cast. Emmett Walsh, who was in Missing in Action, I like he was in this. I good character actor. I like Red Scorpion. I got the Synapse Blu-ray. Apparently that did not sell that well, so they didn't do much of those type of films afterward, which is a shame because it was a good Blu-ray. And yeah, I don't know why, but I just no one really talks about Red Scorpion, sadly. But I think it's definitely one of my favorite Dolph films. So at least for now, I'm going to put that there. So this is not, it doesn't look like it's every Dolph film, but it's still a good chunk of them. So, you know what, let's go with, and I know people are going to groan at this, but for me, they belong in this, Universal Soldier, Regeneration, and Day of Reckoning. I know people will argue, because there are a couple good action scenes, especially in Day of Reckoning. Scott Adkins is like a one-shotter where he's going and killing people left and right in the third act, and there's a scene where he fights a guy with a baseball bat. There's some good action choreography, and Scott Adkins knows how to handle himself physically. There's some bloody moments. And even Regeneration, there's a decent scene where it's like Call of Duty and Van Damme's going around shooting, and there's a bit where he's going with a knife, but I hate the stories in both of these films. I hate that they took Luke Devereaux, who had a good ending in Universal Soldier, and I like The Return. Other people don't. And it's like, well, I'm thinking in this, Universal Soldier The Return is not canon. Only the first film. So that means after the first film, we don't hear what happened to Ali Walker's reporter character. They had him just crying on a couch, falling asleep watching Munties on TV. He just grabbed. He gets brainwashed again to being a soldier. He's emotionless. Just doing his business. The fighting is more grappler, UFC type of thing, so you don't have as much of the classic Van Damme type of action. I didn't care about Pitbull, Pit Stain, whatever the fuck the bad guy was. Dolph was kind of forced in there, thinking he's doing the test in Blade Runner with these random things he's saying or questions he's answering or asking, whatever the hell it was. And then Day of Reckoning, it's like, oh, Lou Devereaux is now Marlon Brando from Apocalypse Now. And then he was kind of controlled or led into killing people, or that's what we were supposed to think, and Scott Adkins was lied to. But either way, he kills Van Damme, so I'm like, wow, what a great ending to Luke Devereaux. Shit. And once again, they cloned Dolph Lundgren again, so now we got this whole cloning thing. It's not enough we could just have regenerated soldiers, now we got to clone people too. And Day of Reckoning also had this awful bit of epilepsy flashes. That if you're epileptic, you gotta be careful with that film or you will go into a seizure. So I just hate what they did to Luke Devereaux character. I hate what they did with the story. And that's why I don't like those films, is the story. And how, in my opinion, they disrespected the Luke Devereaux character, which is one of my favorite Van Damme characters. So, And Dolph, I mean, he's mainly there just for the advertising. He doesn't have a whole lot to do in either one. That's the way I look at it, though. Legendary, that's one I don't think I've... If I've seen it, I don't remember anything about it. I know there's some fantasy stuff in it. Like creatures or dragons or whatever. Scott Adkins and Dolph. Dolph's, I think, the bad guy in that. Scott's the good guy. But I don't remember anything about it, so put it there. Hidden Agenda, I think that's a good candidate for forgettable. That might have been the... No. Yeah, that one I don't remember. I know I've seen it. I know I reviewed it. I don't remember anything. Okay, I remember enough, unlike the others, that I can at least go, yeah, that was a pretty forgettable movie, that it didn't do much for me. Detail-wise, I can't tell anything about it, but I knew that my initial feeling is, yeah, this film is just kind of whatever. Don't really care for it. So I don't have much detail to talk about with that, but... Detention... I'll go with the okay. It's okay. I thought it'd be a bit better. It's Die Hard in a school, but you know, there's some fun action moments with Dolph. I don't mind the avenue of having it be in a school. That made it a bit refreshing. But I didn't think the bad guys were that intimidating. The other kids that Dolph has to work with, I don't know. I was kind of iffy about them. A lot of times I'm like, can we go back to Dolph? Because I'd rather just center on Dolph. But I mean, it's okay. I've seen much worse movies. I really have. So it's watchable. Let's see. Cover Up is a piece of shit. There's little to no action. The ending, I'm not even sure if Dolph's character lives or dies. Because he saves his thing, then he collapses in this bell tower. But you don't know if he lives or dies. Louis Gossett Jr. is not given much to do. I think this was after The Punisher. And it was a waste of his time, waste of his talent. Very, very fucking boring. I know my friend Mike OCP, this is the first Dolph film he saw, and then it made him not watch Dolph films for a long time, because he thought all were like this. He's like, no, he's done much better. Agent Red is a lazy piece of shit that uses footage from other movies. Lackluster, low-budget stuff. A lot of the submarine stuff is footage from either The Hunt for Red October or other films of that ilk. The plot is cliche, pedestrian as all hell. Dolph looks like he doesn't want to be there. Cheap jack horse shit of a movie. Retrograde, I've maintained this is the worst Dolph film I've seen. That's the one where Gary Daniels is a bit part. And it's just a waste of time. It's a sci-fi plot, but it's a very fucking boring sci-fi plot. The action scenes are abysmal. Gary Daniels is completely wasted in that. You think you got these two in the same movie, you have like a good fight between the two. You don't even get that. Such a waste of time. Ultra low budget. Horrible fucking movie. Same with Last Warrior. Which that's the guy who directed Lionheart and Double Impact. Sheldon Lettich. But even Sheldon Lettich has mentioned that he's not a fan of that movie. Because I think what happened was they were supposed to have one budget and then it was taken away like last minute. So then they couldn't do anything. So there was nothing much they could film. Like there's barely any actions. They were kind of wandering around the desert because it's after the apocalypse and people just wandering around and like the lamest wannabe. I don't even call it Mad Max. I don't know what you call it. Just I don't have a lot of details on these because, to be honest, when it's that bad of a movie, I just want to forget about it. Just dog shit film. And then Name of Teen 2, a tired, worn out Dolph being led into an Uwe Boll film. The plot of that is he's a soldier in modern time and somehow he goes back in time to the medieval times. And so Dolph, he's sluggish, he could barely move, looked like he was hurt from the get-go. I forget who it was. The guy who is the cop in Freddy vs. Jason, who Jason electrocutes, he's also in... He's been in other movies. He plays like the teen. I thought that was kind of a weird choice. Very cheap looking movie. Looks like it was done in... Hell, in the Name of the Teen 1 looked like Transformers compared to this. And that's saying a lot. Like Dolph having to work with Uwe Boll. Just a shame. Let's see. Johnny Mnemonic. I'm not really a fan of this movie, so I'm going to put it in this category. I can't put into the sucks ass category. Because there's some interesting visuals and ideas. William Gibson, that whole scenario. But I don't think it's one of Keanu's better... It's not one of his best acting gigs. But there's some funny moments. But hell, I'd rather watch this than Bill and Ted 3. Or some of the others. Knock Knock. And I'd rather watch his acting in this than those movies. Dolph Lundgren, he plays like a mad preacher, and he's barely in the film. He's in a couple scenes, then he gets killed by Flipper. Like, there's a dolphin that has psychic abilities or something, and in a way or one way or another is able to kill and fry Dolph Lundgren. So, Flipper killed Dolph Lundgren in that movie. Which I never thought I'd say those words. Flipper killed Dolph Lundgren. And that's like, I remember being very disappointed when I first saw that, because, oh, it's Dolph, and then where's Dolph? And he's barely in the fucking movie. The rest of it is, it's... Part of me wants to put it in the okay category. Like, it's watchable, but... Nah, the I don't know. I'm sure it's better than some of the stuff I see lately. So maybe if I watch it again, I would put it in the okay category, but just... The way Dolph was treated, and Keanu not being... You know, he's good in the film Speed, which was before this. Then The Matrix after this, but this, I mean, it's... Maybe some ideas were ambitious, but I don't know if the director or such were the best choices for this movie. But yeah, that's just me. Joshua Tree, I like that movie. I put it in the solid category. I prefer the other title, Army of One. I do like that title. Dolph, he's actually with Ken Foray. They're working together. Some bad things happen. Ken Foray gets killed. He escapes. Some crimes are put upon him which aren't exactly fair. There's some crooked cops coming after him. There's this lady who's like a cop or something. She's not the best actress, but they kind of have to team up together. Dolph has to deal with the people trying to kill him. There's some good stylish direction. Some nice bits of slow-mo. There's one scene in particular that I think the director even admitted he ripped off John Woo, where he's trying to see this guy who has all these cars in this big garage, and he's Dolph like shooting with two guns blaring. Some guy's on fire, and he hits the guy, and the guy flies back into the explosive demise, and he's rolling around shooting. His blood squibs going everywhere. I'm like, yes, this is an awesome fucking scene. There's bits where he's driving the car, and there's explosions going around everywhere. He fights the cops at the end, which in the Army of One cut is a longer fight, and Joshua Tree is a shorter fight. I don't know why the Army of One cut cannot get a Blu-ray release. Only the Joshua Tree cut. I don't know what the deal is with that. There's something about that. I don't know what it is, though. So, the Army of One cut, well, I mean, again, it's only a couple minutes, granted, but still, that's how most of us saw it. It has a little bit more action. Why not just make that into a thing? So I don't get that, but good film. I do like that film. Good movie. Let's see. The Minion, that's already 3 minutes. If I go in depth on each of these, it'll be like 2 hours long. So, The Minion, I should put in this, but I'm going to put in this for now. Because I'm a sucker for the idea of a killer, or this entity, as you say, hopping bodies. And Dolph is this like Templar knight that at one point has this thing with this fist with spikes on it. He's got to go chase this entity. So they're like the first power and shocker, but nowhere near as fun. And that cover's bad. I don't know why it has that stupid skeleton thing. I think that skeleton is found earlier, and then the entity escapes because it's been excavated. And then, like I said, Dolph has a decent amount of battles with the entity, different people it's possessed. So it does seem like the movie, I don't want to say it's ambitious, but it does feel you go on this journey with different locales, different venues, different environments, but it didn't, as a horror film, it didn't have the intensity, the suspense. As an action film, it didn't have the satisfying grit or electrifying action scenes. The fights were just there. It deserved to be a lot better than what it was. But I don't mind the concept of the film, and to see Dolph in that kind of concept. Which funny, reminds me, I'll just put it there, similar fashion to Don't Kill It, which is also about a killer that hops around from, or a spear that goes from person to person. Now granted, it's a bit bloodier, but it also tries to be a bit funnier, and it's not always successful. It tries to be more quirky, like try to purposely be a cult film. It's not 100% successful. Again, I don't hate the film, but I put in the category, I put it here. You know what, I'm going to put this here. I do remember this film sucking ass, now that I think about it. I remember not liking anything about it, so it'll go on the lower end, while these may be more mad, so I'd rather put that there. Because I probably would rather watch any of these over that. Larceny, I don't remember liking the film, but I'll put it there because I don't remember hate. You know what? That's another film I don't remember. Damn, a lot of these kind of run together. Sadly, Ford Got 10 was what this was called with Danny Trejo. Dolph, I think, is a good. This other guy in the middle, I forget his name. He's more the lead. Dolph and Danny Trejo were more supporting characters that barely have much to do. So it's one of those, their names are used more for the promotion. Like I said, they didn't have much to do. So, pretty lame film. I should put it in the meh forgettable, but I don't know. Maybe just even now, I'll just put it there just because. Why not? No, fuck yeah, I remember this being shit. Okay, is there any one of these that I think is really, really shitty? Shark Lake. Awful waste. Hey, is Dolph in a killer shark movie? And they fucked it up because the shark is barely a thing. Dolph barely has anything to do. It's more about these guys that are trying to fuck around and Dolph having to deal with these guys. And the shark is like in the backdrop. Like, you get an idea of Dolph dealing with a killer shark, and those two elements put together should be the majority of the movie, and it's not. It's a waste of a fucking fun B-movie idea with boring as hell direction, a terrible supporting cast, and Dolph looking bored and barely have anything to do in the movie. So, not a fan of that. Missionary Man, I remember not being big on this. I'll put in this to be fair. But I'm not a fan of these either. But it's not outright hate. But I remember the action scenes being kind of shaky, or I just remember not caring for the way the action scenes were directed, which was disappointing because Dolph is the director of the film. Fuck Tree 2. Let's see. Fuck Expendables 3. I thought the Expendables 4 is on here. Which that would be some of the worst of the worst. Expendables 3 I'm not a fan of. It's better than 4, but that's not saying much. All these new recruits that no one gives a shit about. Like, okay, Wesley Snipes, yes. But Ronda Rousey and the guy who parachutes, which I think is the same guy that was the star of Twisters and Glenn Powell. I think that was him. Now he's going to be in the star of the new Running Man movie. PG-13. The older guys, the older team, like Dolph, and like they barely have anything to do. Mel Gibson was cool as the villain. Wesley Snipes I thought was wasted. Like they do this whole setup to break him out, and then he's put into the background and barely used for the rest of it, which was a damn shame. Because you have all these new recruits that you don't give a shit about. Like, all you had to do was add Wesley Snipes. You can even add Antonio Banderas if you want. Maybe one or two more, that's it. But no. Jill Rips, I'm not a fan of this movie. Dolph dealing with BDSM. It's like trying to be that Clint Eastwood film Tightrope. But it just, I don't think it works. I know Anthony Hitchcock's, he talked about that film and he said originally it was meant to be Tom Berenger. And I kind of see it. It's meant to be like a Tom Berenger, more mystery thriller. But then you get Dolph and it just wasn't the right fit. Was not the right fit. Blackwater was really lame. Van Damme and Lundgren finally getting together again. They're barely on screen together, and when they are, it's like near the end of the film, and it's just they're in this tight, constricted submarine environment, and kind of just going back and forth, shooting at the bad guys. There's not much banter, there's not much camaraderie. They don't really give much to play off against each other. It's more a Van Damme film, and then Dolph Busby get special guest star Dolph Lundgren. So, not a fan of that movie. To make this easier, let's do it this way. And then I can move this back up. Films I think are just good okay. Like, it's okay, it's alright. Well, all unmet, forgettable. Let's go with that. Oh, whoops, let's go. Just one's above the other. Man, forgettable, okay. Wanted Man I saw recently. Like, well. I still remember being disappointed with this film. Yeah, I'll keep it there. Meh, forgettable. I'll keep it there. Yeah, I'll keep it there for now. Just like kind of meh, forgettable to not really a fan of it at all. Like good, okay, I'll put Icarus. That was also The Killing Machine. Remember not minding that film. I thought it was decent for a direct-to-video film. Decent bits of action. Plot isn't anything to run home about, but a decent time waster. Direct Contact. There's a couple of fun moments in the third act involving him and Michael Pare. Like Michael Pare's death scene is fun. But when I realized and found out that a lot of the footage of the action is stuff lifted from other movies, this kind of went downhill for me. So I'll be fair and put it like, let's put it here. Let's put it there. Again, when I realized a lot of those actions, they say, "Oh, that's pretty good for a low budget." Well, they're from other films. Oh, that's why. Okay. This is the one from Ted Kotcheff. You know what, I'm going to put this here. I'm not a fan of Missionary Man. I'm really not. And Larceny. Like I said, that's tough. Pentathlon, I'm not a fan of. That's such one of the early films if he did that I'm not a fan of at all. So I'm going to put it in that. I know a lot of people like it. Lack of action, lack of excitement, not much memorable for it to me. Same with The Shooter. I'll just put it there. I think that's when Ted Kotcheff did First Blood and Uncommon Valor. Disappointing coming from him. Very disappointing. I'll be fair to the Masters of the Universe and put this in okay. Because compared to this other stuff, it's got a good score. I think Dolph himself does a good job as He-Man. Frank Langella steals the show as Skeletor. I like the guy who's the principal from Back to the Future, James Tolkien, I think, as the cop. A teep they used to say slackers. Puppet his shotgun. There's some cool makeup designs and costumes. I just don't like that it was with Canon Films, so they didn't have the budget to make it in Eternia, so mostly it's on Earth. But if I watch it now, I'm like, you know what? It's better than Kevin Smith did the He-Man. So, there you go. I'll put it there. Maybe I think my friend Affrey might be happy with that. The Package, I like that film. I thought it was a good showing for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Dolph is the villain. It's more of a Steve Austin film, but you know, fun little time waster movie. I do like it. Blackjack. I hate to do this. I gotta put it in the such category. Phenomenal opening. John Woo directed this. It was supposed to be a pilot for a TV show, but the TV show didn't get picked up, so then they repackaged it as a movie. But cool opening where Dolph, he's shooting all these bad guys, even jumping on a trampoline outside, shooting bad guys, protecting this person. But then you tell all the budget was put in that opening, because the rest of it, other than a few scenes here and there, like one including a motorcycle, which was decent. They couldn't show a whole lot because it's supposed to be for TV. The plot wasn't interesting. And the hero, they give him the fear of the color white. Just something blinded him, and now if he sees the color white, it freaks him out. So there's a bit where there's a truck, a milk truck, like a tanker, and the tanker busts and milk flies over, and Dolph, he's not going, ooh, he's not doing that, but he's like frozen in terror because of fucking milk. That I can't take it seriously when it's that shit. I can't. I fucking can't. I'm sorry, I can't. Cannot do it. Let's see. I'm looking at what we have here. Expendables 2. Compared to what we got in 3 and 4. Again, for those who say I'm not fair, I'll put in meh forgettable. Because I was disappointed with the fight between Van Damme and Stallone. I was disappointed, and I don't think the R rating really held true. That even more so felt like it was added last minute. Dolph was downgraded to talk about whale ass. I will say, though, I do like Chuck Norris in the film. I do like Van Damme in the film. It was cool to see Arnold, Bruce, and Stallone in the same frame together, shooting guns together. And of course, this would be the last one Bruce Willis was in. Expendables filmed wise. So those little moments I do like, and I'll put it here to be fair, but I remember being very disappointed in the film. And thinking, really? Like, that's what we got? Really, guys? Really? So yeah, I remember being disappointed with that. So, I'm going to put you guys back where you belong. And I think the rest of these I might put in solid. Command performance I really liked. It's Die Hard at a rock concert. Dying's easy. Rock and roll is hard. He stabs someone with, I think he like breaks a guitar and stabs a bad guy in the stomach. Yes, there's some low production values sometimes because it was made, for the direct-to-video market, but him being a drummer, I mean, Die Hard rock concert, he's a drummer. I mean, that's such a cool concept, fun, entertaining action. Remember being a lot of fun. So I do like that film. Battle of the Damned. People don't laugh at me, but I really do like that film. It's Dolph fighting zombies. He kicks the shit out of zombies. And there's robots. Now, again, the robots aren't the best special effects. But there was such a fun B-movie enthusiasm to it that it was a lot of fun. And again, get to see Dolph kick the shit out of zombies for a good chunk of the movie. I'm down for that. So, yeah, I can't help but enjoy that type of stuff. You want to see a bad version of that? Go watch Dead Trigger. Which is not on this list. That's one of the worst Dolph films I've seen, is Dead Trigger. Which, A, was based on a video game, and B, was a zombie movie. Then you found out at the end that most of it didn't happen, because there's people wearing visors. I'm like, what? Lame-ass fucking film. Silent Trigger, that's a good one. I watched that not too long ago. Russell Mulcahy directed it. Very stellar, stylish set pieces because of Russell Mulcahy. The Defender, it's one of the first, I think, Dolph directed. It's a siege movie where people coming out of the woodwork while they're in this, not bunker, but this area, and Dolph's leading this team. They gotta protect people coming out of the woodwork. So Dolph being a siege movie. And yeah, Jerry Springer is the president. So, which is fun. But yeah, The Defender. I do like that film. I haven't seen that film forever. I love to watch that film again. The Peacekeeper, I actually do like this film. It's Die Hard at I just call it a missile silo. Montel Williams is in the movie and does a decent enough job. Roy Scheider, I think, plays the president in that. And there's some good set pieces. I mean, there's a bit where there's a car chase amongst rooftops, which is impressive what they did for a low-budget direct-to-video film. I'm like, wow, that was impressive. So that's a fun one. I do like that one. The Expendables, this was a good bit in the theater. The only reason I don't put it as an awesome is the CGI is a bit wonky at times. I wish they did not use CGI at all. And then, there's, two cuts of the film, and it's if you merge both those cuts together, you put bits of there and bits of there, then, and if there was less CGI, then I would put it in the awesome category. But as is, very solid film. To see all these guys get together and work together. Easily the best of the Expendables films. Skin Trade, I think, is a nice gem of a movie. I really do. Dolph, Tony Jaa, Peter Weller's in the film. Excellent action fight scenes. Michael Jai White versus Tony Jaa. I think it's one of the stronger Tony Jaa movies. May not be the on-bot or the protector, but of all the other stuff he's done in America, I think this was the better effort. I think Dolph had a good handle on the film and the story. I think Ron Perlman. So you have some good supporting actors, some good fight scenes. Sting Trade I really do enjoy. Direct action, I actually really like this film. This cover is not the cover because that's the cover for Detention. So I don't know why they use that cover for it. He looks nothing like that. That's him from Detention. But direct action is literally kind of Dolph. He's a guy who's supposed to go into this courtroom to give a testimony against crooked cops, and then there's people standing in his way. I think one of them was it Conrad Dunn? The guy in the Silent Trigger. And just Dolph kicked a lot of ass. I think he even kicks a guy's ass who's wearing like a Punisher shirt. And like just Dolph just kicked everybody's ass. That's how I view it. Like it's kind of how I view Chuck Norris's film Forced Vengeance. If you want to see a movie where Dolph goes around kicking everybody's ass, there's your movie. Weird opening credit scene where it's like these pink pastel colors, and then they give away the entire film. So if you watch the opening credits, like there's a scene that plays in opening credits. If you watch those opening credits, they tell you the whole fucking film. So kind of a weird opening credits, but as is, very fun movie. And I do remember liking these two, but I don't. It's been a while since I've seen them. So as of right now, Bridge of Dragons, I do remember having some good action scenes in there. You know what? I'll put this in solid, yeah. And then Storm Catcher, I do remember wishing it had more action scenes. But I do like some of Dolph's performance. This one where he's trying to be a New Yorker. Wait, they're gonna go to the fucking school? Like, so there's some fun bits in there. I like the film. I'll put it at least there for now. Yeah, I do remember liking the film. So there you go. These I might have seen some of these or reviewed them, but I don't remember a single thing about them. I'm sure they'd all be in the suck ass category, but I Come in Peace is my favorite. You know, these are all classics to me. Direct action is fun. Battle of the Dam, Dolph fighting zombies. Tony Jaa, good support for Dolph in this. Defender, decent siege movie. Silent Trigger, you know, the stuff I just mentioned. These I think are okay. That's me being fair putting it there. The Minion, I have a feeling if I watch it again, I would put it here. Because I know I ranted on it before. But it's one of those things I wonder, since I've seen so much worse Dolph films, like Dead Trigger, Blackwater, Shark Lake, in the name of the team 2, you know, Retrograde, that I would just be like, it's there, but disappointing. So that's what I'm thinking with my head. Larceny, I might as well put this. I know I reviewed this film. I might as well put this in this category. I'll just say, don't remember. Like anything about it. Like, I don't remember like how I felt about the film. Yeah, and these some of the like Dead Trigger will be on here. I mean, even were to rank like the worst of the worst, that'd be tough. Like Shark Lake would be up there. Agent Red would be up there. Blackwater would be up there somewhere. Yeah, that'd even be tough. I'm just doing this by instinct. I mean, maybe this here, because at least I like Mel Gibson. And Kelsey Grammer. Remember those two being fun in Expendables 3. The only things I liked. Retrograde, I've always said, is the worst one I've seen, Dolph-wise. I did a full rant on as to why, but I don't remember those details. Just the venom I had with it. But that's the list for now. There you go. So take that for what you will. Thanks for watching. Thanks once again to AJ for the request. And we will see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.